Hey, this is Peter Robbins. I am going to do just a quick overview and walkthrough of a Heart of Oak turn. It's one of my favorite rule sets. I'll show you what that looks like. I don't know why I'm in a detail view here. Sorry. Let's do this. So this Heart of Oak was part of a lovely role-playing game called Privateers and Gentlemen by John Williams, who had written it on behalf of Fantasy Games Unlimited, a very popular alternative to TSR in the late 70s. The first printing of this was about 1978, and there was a second printing which had alternate box covers, etc. I think. Let me show you a few of these things. So as you can see, the role-playing game was quite detailed. This shows you a character sheet. As you can say, it was very much a percentile skill-based system. At least the gunnery, I believe, was D100 based, but it looks like some of the other ones were D20 base. I don't remember the system very well. I am going to do some form of here's a better idea of some of the charts involved, percentages and whole numbers. So yeah, I think it was primarily a D100 based system, probably right around the time where D100 was kind of exploding literally on the scene. Promotions and prizes kind of goes into character. Tradition and victory is a nice little additional stuff about gambling, ports, world notes, and stuff like that. Building out and fitting out your characters, etc. But the coup de grace of the game was Heart of Oak, which is here. This is the color cover version. So this was considered the Mac Daddy of all Age of Sail miniature war games, at least since I've been playing. There are, of course, wooden ships and Iron Men, etc. Fire She Bears, other systems over the years, of course, that do certain things better, let's say. But as far as I'll say, primarily Heart of Oak rewards folks that can sail their ships appropriately, at least according to its depiction of how. Let me show you a little bit of the contents here. As you can see, covers tacking and wearing, backing sail, heaving to, etc. There are a lot of advanced rules that I don't think I've ever played some of these rules. There's some rules for their tournament rules as well. I do want to get to, I might show a little bit about what they do for campaigns. I wouldn't mind running a campaign of this at some point or another. But all right, before we get all into that, I do have my physical copy of this as well. My backdrop on my desktop is Quebiern Bay, 1759, which I'm going to be running at the Armchair Dragoons digital convention mid-January. So look out for that. I'll put something about that as a comment later. Let's take a look at this battle in particular. The opponents are the HMS Aeolus, HMS Pallas, and the HMS Brilliant, as well as on the French side, we have the Marshal de Belleisle. I'm going to mispronounce things all over the place today. Just correct me in the comments. It's fine. The Marshal was accompanied by Blonde and Tibrachur. Again, going to mispronounce this, but correct me later. I do believe I have a couple of these gun counts wrong here, and I'll show you on the 3-deck site here in a moment. But Marshal was captained by the famous privateer Francois Thurot. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I tried my darndest to find anybody else on the internet that pronounced his last name. I don't think it's Thoreau because it would be spelled a little bit differently if I'm not mistaken. So I think it's Francois Thru. Very interesting fellow. One thing I found that was interesting that really kind of got me into depicting this battle at all was that about 6 days prior to the Battle of Bishop's Court, he was involved in the Battle of Carrickfergus in Northern Ireland. And interestingly enough, I have some cousins in that area in the Greater Belfast area as well. My grandmother was from Killelea, and the village of Strigley in particular. So this one goes out to my grandma. All right. So this Battle of Carrickfergus was about 6 days earlier, where about 600 French troops were landed at Kilroot near Carrickfergus, and I'll show you where that is. So here's where the Carrickfergus Castle is, and this is where Kilroot is. Hold on, let's see. Hopefully I get that right. Yeah, Kilroot. So they landed the troops here. They took the castle. They primarily there to gain resources, pillage, etc. They gave Belfast some trouble, etc. But the British governor in the area was able to get a good amount of militia, and they kind of drove them out. Took them a little bit to get out. I think there were a couple days where they couldn't get out because of a headwind from the east, and eventually they did get out. Unfortunately, by the time they got out, they got kind of trapped in this area. So this is the area of the battle, and this is right here is a depiction from the time period, hand-colored, showing the battle, and that it was pretty much right between the Mull of Galloway and the Isle of Man. Hopefully I'm pronouncing all that right. Here is where that Mull of Galloway is. Beautiful place. If I ever can get over to the islands, I'm going to try to take a ferry into that area, kind of look at, and maybe even visit Isle of Man. But the battle took place right around here. I couldn't find any good depictions of what the wind was like. Now, the only clue to that was this hand-drawn map, in which case I couldn't tell, just based on the attitude of the ships, the course of the ships on this map. I'm thinking it's coming from the west, but I can't tell, really. I can't tell very well. I would assume it's coming from someone from here. I in the scenario I did it from the east northeast, I believe. Let me go check what I had it at. Yeah, I think I had it at east northeast. I think, yeah. All right, so just kind of give you a little bit of a real quick rundown. We're actually at the start of, let's see what turn we're on. We're on turn 7. This is probably a good place to kind of show this, or try to do a turn. In that we've had some action here. Marshall has taken some damage. He's taken about 6 points out of 46 hull points, as you can see here. So here's the thing with Heart of Oak. You're actually supposed to depict the current wind strength and direction, the ending course of your first leg, a sail setting change, if any, up 1 or 2, up 1 or down 1 setting. For the second leg, you put the course you want to be at the end of the leg as well. Let me just review what those sail settings are real quick. So the sail settings are no sail, minimum, fighting, all, plain, full, and extra. So whenever you see a 3 here, that is all plain sail. A 2 is fighting sail. Okay, and here I'm just depicting what I've fired. I've not been very good at marking what I hit. I kind of wanted a nice running thing here, but I think I did it better for Illis. Hold on a second. Yeah, see, like a miss, got a point, blah, 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 etc. So what happens is, as you take groupings of 3 hull point damage, you lose crew. And the other thing is, you're supposed to, and this is a little trick for quick play of Heart of Oak, is there's a certain critical point where you have to start managing the crew, really. I mean, you need enough crew to load and fire broadside, of course, but then you also need at least one per mast for 3 or less. Let me double check that real quick. To sales, at sales settings 1 to 3, you allocate one crew factor, and 4, you do 2, 5, you do 3. So this really, assigning crew only really particularly matters if you don't have enough crew left to man a full broadside. So I kind of, what I do is I cheat a little bit, and I depict a critical crew level. There's also a certain point where you start to worry about morale once you're at the 50% mark of your hull. So Aeolus is not too bad. They're at 26 of their original 32. Marshall is, I had to spell it wrong. Marshall is at oh, let's see, 40 of 46. So not quite there. So they need to get, critical morale check at what about 23? So we're far from that. We're still getting whittled down, etc. There's been some other damage on Blonde, HMS, excuse me, the French Blonde. It becomes HMS Blonde later after it gets captured historically. So as you can see, though, that I mean, the crew assignments otherwise are for repair, cutting free, cutting work, anything that's fallen over, cutting grapples, others. So again, it's just primarily you're trying to man the mast and the guns. And what another thing you can do, you can use 3 crew to load a broadside, and you can actually fire with 1. So one interesting tactic would be, like, if we're pretty low on crew later in the battle, you can take your crew and take as much as you can and preload your starboard side, for example, and just continue to do a continual broadside on the other, and kind of pull around, maybe do some attack maneuver or some wearing, and pull around and kind of get a good fire off without as many needed crew. So there's some little tweaking you can do. That the crew doesn't really come into play until you're very damaged and or you're trying to do a boarding action, etc. So, which is extremely rare in this game, for me at least, historically. So let's see, what are we gonna do here? Let's take a look at the map here. This is the sorry, just lost it. Mullagullaway area here, just not really very well depicted. This is the Isle of Man, or at least the northern tip of it. I just made the Isle of Man explode, apparently. That's okay. Send me the bill. So here is the big part of Heart of Oak. It's the sailing charts and the gauge, of course. And for this, in this scenario, I have it depicted that the wind is coming from the northeast. Excuse me, I think I said it wrong before. Wind is coming from the northeast. Irons is considered, or the no man zone, don't go zone is this red here. Most ships, at least frigates, most ships can only go 2 points away from that. That's actually a little lenient, just honestly, from what I've read. I think it probably should be more like that. But yeah, whatever. I'm playing the rules. So beating in this in Heart of Oak is 2 points off the wind, and then pretty much perpendicular and one more point up is broad reach. Quarter reach is pretty much wind astern is its own thing. Of course, you have it's a little bit less speedy when the wind is astern because of the way that the sails kind of interact with each other there, can block the wind a little bit. So this is your quarter reaching, 3 points off here. All right, so this kind of gives you a good idea. And this is the actual compass rose from the original. So here's the meat and bones of this little. These are the sailing charts, and what you'll see, I'll kind of do it like right here, is that you have a wind strength. Again, let me kind of state what those are real quick, because I don't think I did that. So one is calm, 2 is light gust, 3 is a light wind, 4 is normal breeze, 5 is heavy breeze, 6 is a gale, 7 is a storm, and 8 is a hurricane. Yeah, you wouldn't really want to do that. Anywhere you have, I think it's where you have those mark asterisks you can still sail by, but any of these marks here, they're forbidden, right? So as you can see, if wind is astern and you're getting up towards, let's see, gale, which is 6, you can't use a sail setting of 4 or 5. You have to use only 1, 2, or 3. Okay. And again, this is no sail, minimum sail, all plain sail, full sail, and extra sail, which is pretty self-explanatory. So we usually just cross-reference it. And then right here, you get 3 different types of ships or qualities of ships: hooker, average, or smart. So for example's sake, and most of the things we're doing here, as a matter of fact, we'll be using this for the British, this turn is primarily we've been traveling south. So if you look at south, we're quarter reaching, based on the wind. So we're quarter reaching. The ships I think I depicted as, let's see, average. Oh wait, this one's smart. Policy smart. Okay, so let's look at the difference in that. So Aeolus is an average ship, so we're going to use the middle right here. So wind strength 4, sail setting 3. I believe I still have it as. No, I have it as 2 now. Okay, we're at 2. So we're at 2 here. So we're going to go 7 point. We're going to go 76 millimeters or 7.6 centimeters. So let's just do that real quick. As a matter of fact, let's go ahead and depict that here. So we're gonna let's just continue this on for illustration's sake. And we'll do this one ship at a time just in case we need to adjust it. All right, so we're gonna just continue south. If we wanted to change course, we might want to, as a matter of fact, we might want to cross the T here. So this is going to get interesting, and that's kind of why I have these little red markers here. So we're going to mark the starting point of these ships real quick. Okay, and okay, so everybody else, let's go ahead and put in the orders for Marshall. Again, this is still misspelled. I'm really bad. All right, Shell. Let's take a look at what we're gonna do. We'll just move these 2 ships for now, and everybody else will come up. So this guy's gonna probably try to go south. He can only Marshall can only turn up to turn limit is 3, so it can only go 3 compass points within the entire turn. So right now he's going southeast, so he can go all the way over to south southwest if he wanted to. He would be broad reaching, so he's probably going to want to end up south. That's what we'll do. Pick Marshall. Doing this. Ending up at the end of this one is south. And then maybe wind astern. No, let's keep it south. Let's see. It might be a mistake. Oh well, I'm not here to show you. I'm just here to show you how to do it. All right. All right. So they're going to come down south. Aeolus is going to come down. They're going to continue south. They're going to turn in, I think. So they have a turn limit of 3 as well. These are all frigates. Aeolus, so he's going south currently. We want to get him over to the other quarter reach so he can keep his speed potentially, or not. Maybe south southwest. Let's see if we can beat him and do a bow rake. All right, so let's see if we do that. So this guy is currently at a sail setting of, this was 2 from the previous. This was the previous turn right here. Heading south, ending south, remaining 2, probably yes. And these guys are probably staying 3 sail setting. Yep. All right. So we're going to check this out. Average ship. Okay, let's do the Marshall first, which is actually a sailing chart too. So the wind strength is 4. We are at quarter reaching for them, right? Because they're heading southeast. quarter reaching, wind strength 4, sail setting 3. They're going to go 9.2. He's going to go 9.2. And then he's going, hopefully that did, I think all right, so then we're going to go south. And they're going to get the best shot. So I think they would actually probably shoot around there. Give you an idea where we're at here. So they've gone forward and moved. These guys are going to come up. We're just going to do these kind of automatically, which is probably not correct, but whatever. That's what I do too. I kind of let them in Heart of Oak. It's actually a little difficult to keep ships in line. I use a squadron house rule where you just pull them up as long as they're not slower than the lead ship. It's fine. All right. And this guy's gonna go. Yeah, Lewis is gonna do 2 sail setting 2 on chart 3. All right, so again, wind strength 4, quarter reaching. We're at 7.6. Let's see what happens here. I don't think he got it. Get that better. Okay, so we're getting pretty darn close here. Let's get these out for now. Okay. I have to give credit to Jim O of the Armchair Dragoons. I think I got this fog from one of his battles and in this table as well. So credit to Jim O for a lot of this module stuff. These ships are from the Black Seas module as provided by that company. I think Jim O uses them too. All right. So these guys are pretty darn close now. Let's check. Yeah, we're within. Let me check my rules here as far as distances for when we're firing here. Between 101 and yeah, we're right close. We're almost point blank. We're just outside of point blank. So let's go ahead and just fire back and forth here. Each side is firing simultaneously. I'm going to fire from Marshall first, rolling. They get a 64, which is on short. That is a 50% rating. We're using continual broadside ratings because we've already done our first fire. Marshall's ratings are pretty good. He has 8 factors, and then we're doing a continual broadside of 40%. Let's check that, make sure I'm doing that correctly. 3, so 3 support. And then we're going to do, so that was the continual broadside factor, so it's 3, but then we're doing half, so that's 1.5 rounded up. So we're actually going to do 2 points of damage. Let's make a comment there. 2. Okay, so we just did that. Let's go ahead and mark that. We took another 2 here. So we're down to 24. 3. No, not quite another one, but we almost took another one. We're not doing repairs. The way I do repairs in Heart of Oak, you're technically allowed to repair 1 per turn, but I don't like. I kind of house rule that you can't do that unless you're not being fired on. or not in battle. You have to be basically a certain distance away, like extreme distance away before you can repair. I just don't like that rule. Another reason that crew kind of becomes kind of not pointless, but it just doesn't really need to be tracked until you get down to a critical level. All right, so what have I done? I did marshals. Let's do the reverse. Liss is firing starboard. He rolls a 37. Let's look at our trusty firing table. We are at short range. Okay, that's another 50%. That's 50%. So I think it's only going to be 1 point. I think they're full factor. Yeah, kind of. Let me check one thing about Marshall. No, I gave it the equivalent of the indefatigable, which is 8 long gun. There's a big jump between a 5th rate and a 4th rate. Right, and that is the main difference here. That's also why the sailing charge is a little different too. All right, so I think it has 1 point. Marshall takes a point. So he's at 39. Does it take? That's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, then one more, and I'll take another crew. Okay, and that's about it. We haven't had any criticals, so on and so forth. And that was just one leg. The second leg, we end up. Do we change anything for? No, we're staying 2. So we go same 2, 7, 6. And are they changing course at all either? No, they're all staying south. Couldn't quite cross the T here. So 7 point. And these guys are going now south. Marshall 4. 3 is a 9.2. Might still stay in. Interestingly enough, that was exactly what they wanted. We're gonna get some firing on here. Don't need these markers anymore. So we have fired here. I'm gonna go ahead and probably finish firing here. S here. Exchange fires back here. See if we get any critical hits. Pos 40 of what's their factors? 5. It's 50 of. Okay, so we're already at 50. So 2. I think this will be 2 here. And then half of that, which is 1 on blonde. Another thing. Back at you. Let's do blonde on pause. Pause. Got an 89 on that one. Let's check that one. That might be better. Yeah, that's 100%. So blonde can do 50%, which is 2. So it'll do 2. And it'll do all of that. Oh, shoot. I'll do all of that on so it took 2 here. So it's got 30, and it did lose another 6 total. So it does take another crew. It affects it, blah, blah, blah. There's a critical point. We're not quite there. It's being damaged. All right, so pause and return, fires, and gets a 92. That's also full. So that's going to also be 2 on him. So blonde will take 2. Wait a minute. Something got askew here. All right, whatever. I'll correct that later. That will be another crew. Needs to go up 1. There we go. All right. And then we're going to go on the 3rd row here. Let's start firing back and forth here. Let's fire from Terpscore. He gets that's a miss. Brilliant. Ooh, that's full. Brilliant. That'll be 2, I believe. Some good firing now. Full is so 3 actually. It'll be 3. 3 on Terpscore. It's first. Here. So this is the first damage. So again, like if we play this for reals with individual captains, I would tend to only give them the view from the quarterdeck, if you will, here. So if you were Terpscore, this is what you'd see, right? I'd probably give a little bit of lenience just because people hanging over the deck and looking around a little bit more freedom, but to kind of average it out. But there's combat smoke, battle smoke as well. So then if you know you're going south, and you can kind of tell they're going south, just based on looking at them, you can kind of tell these guys are a little bit kind of coming into form subtly. Yeah, that's Heart of Oak. Main functionality, of course, is the sailing aspect of it and the combination of wind strength, sail setting, and wind aspect. So main thing. The combat is pretty straightforward. There's some modifiers for good and crack crew, but there's not a lot of modifiers involved. It's mostly range. Let's see. At short and point blank, it is all shots are assumed to be low. Medium, it's just low, and then long and extreme, it's assumed high. Oh, that's actually implied high. So it's an interesting rule set. It's detailed, but it's actually not horribly complex. I haven't gotten into the too many boarding actions with it. We just never tend to do that too often in the battles that I'm depicting. But so it's a great rule set. It concentrates mostly on sailing, getting into a good condition where you can do a little bit more damage than the opponent, and that's what we were seeing here in this battle of Bishop's Court, because the British had the weather gauge. They were able to kind of get up very quickly and have at least there was at least two turns of the first two ships being able to fire on Marshall, and you can definitely see the results of that, as they're the ones that kind of took the brunt of damage. And they're still not they're not doing there haven't been any criticals yet so far. So let me look at that again. I think you only get, this is an interesting rule set in that regards. I think you only get it if you roll. Let me see if let me look at short range real quick. What the critical was, kind of forget what it was. So at short range, rolling a natural 86 to 100 would have given us a critical hit. At point blank, it's 71 to 100, so a good 30% chance of critical when you start getting in low. So this is different than some systems, because it's a little bit more pure percentile. At long and extreme, there aren't that. It's like at long, it's 98 to 100 natural. At extreme, it's a natural 100. At medium range, it's a natural 95 to 100. So this is one of the only rule sets that kind of depict medium range as not being optimal. And from a critical, I mean, you can't just kind of get combinations of rolls and get some magical crits at that range. You do have to get it down to short and point blank to start doing some craziness, which we're about to do. So that's it for now. We're at the let me mark this. We are at the 7 visual say. Yep, that didn't work either. I really don't like the. I'm just doing this for my visualization's sake. For screenshots I'm taking for an article for this, but so I'm not gonna bore you anymore. But this is Heart of Oak, and this is the Battle of Bishop's Court, and it's been fun. It's gonna take me a while to get through because it just takes a little bit to administrate on your own for that many ships. So Heart of Oak is best for frigate actions of about this size. As you can tell, there's just a little bit of administration to it, but it's not. Again, it's not complicated. It's detailed, but it's not complicated. It emphasizes sailing, possibly to a small fault, but just in that, in some cases, it gives, I think, just a little bit too much leeway, especially towards irons. But we'll see what your opinion is on it if you ever get a chance to play. So I'm sure I'll run more scenarios in the future. So have a good one.